Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Kai, and recently I posted a poll on my community section and the majority of you voted for this video to be made. You wanted a Canon M50 equipped with pro lenses video, and so that's what we're shooting today. So let's get this show on the road. So this little camera here is the Canon M50, and this is actually the first version of this camera, decked out with a 24 megapixel crop frame sensor. It can shoot RAW and C-RAW images up to 10 frames, continuous shooting. And the standard lens that comes with this camera is this, the 15 to 45mm M mount with variable maximum aperture ranges. Now the pro lenses that I plan on shooting with today include the Canon 16 to 35mm f-stop 2.8 wide angle L lens, the 24 to 105mm f-stop 4 full frame kit lens, and the 70 to 200mm f-stop 2.8 L lens, also referred to as the Beauty Maker. And all of these are in the Canon luxury range, as denoted by this little red line here. And you may or may not know that all of these lenses are actually EF mount lenses. So in order to get them to work with the Canon M50, we have to use an adapter. And in particular, we are going to be using this, the Viltrox EF to M2 speed booster, which is not only an adapter, but also adds an extra stop of light to your lens, and it also reins in the crop factor of your Canon M50 by a factor of 0.71 times. And this little piece of kit will set you back around $150, about £150. And I'll leave a little link to this and all the other kit I talk about today down in the description box below. And just a little FYI, all the links are affiliate links, which means that you won't pay a penny more, but I do get a small commission for any purchases made, which really does help the channel. Now, to highlight our pro lenses on the M50, I enlisted the help of some of my family members, or more like conscripted the help of some family members, and I wanted to mix it up a little bit by shooting in a studio environment like this with controlled lighting, and also outside with natural lights using some ND filters. So first up, we're going to be using the Canon 16 to 35mm f-stop 2.8 wide angle L lens, and using this lens in conjunction with the Viltrox speed booster, we have to multiply the 1.6 times crop factor of the Canon's M50 APS-C sensor by 0.71 times of the speed booster, which gives us a factor of 1.136. Now this in turn gives us an approximate focal range on the 16 to 35mm of 18 to 40mm on this lens on the M50 when compared to a full frame sensor. Don't worry if you didn't get any of that. Basically, this means that our lens focal range is less zoomed in than it normally would be. And also on top of that, the f-stop 2.8 of this lens moves up to a maximum aperture of f-stop 2, which essentially means that we can let more light in and have a blurrier background. So how do our pro pics look in the studio with this lens? Let's have a look at them now. Director of photography over here, keeping an eye on things, or watching Netflix, and my beautiful assistant who is going to be modeling. And I've got the 16 to 35mm f-stop 2.8 lens. That's what we're going to use now. So what about outside in nature? Well, let's have a look at some of the pics that we walked away with on our nature shoot. Okay, so we're out and about now. We've got the Freewell ND filter on there as well. So basically necessary if you're shooting outside and you want to shoot a higher f-stop number like f-stop 2. And if you want to pick up a 16 to 35mm f-stop 2.8 EF lens, you can actually grab the updated version of this lens on Amazon for around $1,700 to $1,800. And this is a great place to mention that if you haven't done so already, go and add yourself to the KaiCreative Facebook and Instagram accounts to stay up to date with all of our creative happenings. So next up, we'll be using this, the Canon 24 to 105mm f-stop 4 lens. Now, as mentioned earlier, this is the kit lens that used to come with the older Canon full-frame DSLR cameras, a great all-round lens that I've personally used extensively in the past for multiple different projects. And using this lens in conjunction with the Viltrox speed booster, we have to multiply the crop factor / speed booster factor of 1.136 times by the focal length of this lens, which gives us an approximate focal range of 27 to 120mm on this lens when compared to a full frame sensor. And also the f-stop 4 of this lens moves down to f-stop 2.8 or moves up to f-stop 2.8, which is awesome. So let's jump back into the studio to see what we created with this lens combo. Great stuff. Now let's have a look at our outside nature shots with the 24 to 105mm. We've put an ND filter on there as well because it's particularly bright. Oh, that's cool. And if you want to pick up a Canon 24 to 105mm f-stop 4 EFL kit lens, you can grab the updated version of this lens on Amazon for about $1,200 to $1,300. Finally, we come to this, the Canon 70 to 200mm f-stop 2.8L lens, also referred to as the Beauty Maker. And with good reason. This was a lens that I used a lot for my wedding videos and corporate photo shoots back in the day, and it really creates some amazing images with beautiful buttery backgrounds. And using this lens in conjunction with the Viltrox Speed Booster, we have to multiply our crop/speed booster 1.136 times factor by the focal length of this lens, which gives us an approximate focal range now of 80 to 227mm on this lens when compared to a full frame sensor. And also the f-stop value of 2.8 opens up to a maximum aperture of f-stop 2.0, just like the 16 to 35mm lens. So let's have a look at some of our studio shots and see what we were able to create. I need to step right back. So not much space to move around in the studio, unfortunately, but where this lens really shines is outside. So let's move on to some of the natural lit shots on the nature trail with the 70 to 200mm lens. Oh, it's not getting your eyes. Hang on. There it is. Amazing. Love it. Nice. Wowee. Look over to your other right. Amazing. And if you want to pick up a Canon 70 to 200mm Beauty Maker, you can grab the third version of this lens on Amazon for around $2,000. Again, links to everything that I've discussed in this video will be down in the description box below. A great option on the M50 that we've mentioned already is the ability to shoot in C-RAW or compressed RAW, allowing you greater flexibility when dealing with your highlights and your shadows, and also giving you more creative freedom when it comes to your color grading. And if you want a breakdown of how I color grade my photos in Photoshop, I'll leave a link to that video up in the cards and in the description box. So thank you to all of you who voted for this video. It definitely was a lot of fun for me to make, and I do appreciate that we just took photos on the Canon M50 today, but it is a very versatile piece of kit and is sought after by content creators for video too. I'll leave a link to my M50 playlist in the cards above and down below. So that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you found today's video useful, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that little bell for notifications. So all that I've got left to say is thanks for watching, stay creative, stay safe, imagine, implement, and inspire. And I'll see you next time on KaiCreative.